last year, was there a moment maybe in the fall where things really started to click for you and you were like, all right, I'm starting to get my footing here?
Most definitely. Being behind the guys that I was behind, like Antonio Johnson, they always prepared me for the moment in case something did happen, like when things did happen. So they always prepared me for the moment. Like in the fall camp, things started to slow down a little bit. When I got my moments in the game, things definitely started to slow down for me.
Where have you seen your game grow throughout the spring and in the off season, and just how do you expect them to kind of maybe use you throughout that back row in the secondary?
Pretty much all over, but definitely mostly in the star position, blitzing, playing a lot of zone coverage, mostly man coverage. But I feel like my game has improved a lot. Slot man, being able to recognize routes in zone, being able to jump routes, being able to do a lot of different things.
We'll go fourth row on the left side to Sam.
Bryce, I know in high school you played a lot with the ball in your hands and playing quarterback. What was it like going from not having the ball in your hands as much to being defense full-time at the college level?
It was a big change. Like I said, coming from an offensive mentality to a defensive mentality, it was a big change. But having that leadership, it's been like the same, having the same quarterback leadership, taking it over to the defensive side. I tried to keep that mindset. But, yeah, that's pretty much been the biggest change.
And has the offensive background helped you at all when it comes to reading opposing offenses and preparing?
Most definitely. Recognizing, like, splits and things like that. Recognizing, like, if I get, like, a hitch from the one, then I get a corner from the two, I already know what to expect. If I get an out, then I'm expecting a fly. I'm just alert for a lot of things coming from the quarterback position.
We'll stay on that left side, third row to Tyler.
Who's been the toughest guy to guard in practice, and just what's it like going against the receivers?
Man, all of those guys I would say is tough to guard. They all bring different things to the table. Like Moose, y'all know he has crazy hands, so I know when I'm guarding Moose, I have to be able to play through the hands really well. I know when I'm guarding East Stu, I know how quick he is. I know how to play with my feet really well. I know like I'm guarding Noah, he's kind of like taller. I know how to get my hands on really fast. So like all of those guys bring like different things to the table. But the hardest guy I would say that's been to guard, I would probably say it's been probably Noah, East Stu, I would say. Yeah.
And then how much of more of a leadership role have you seen yourself take going into this year?
Like I said, coming from a quarterback, I tried to keep that same leadership mindset. So I'm taking it over from the defense. I tried to keep that same mindset since my freshman year. So I've been like, even when I was a 2, I was always still speaking up for that group. So now I'm a 1. I try to keep that same mindset, even with being with Damani Richardson and Jordan Gilbert. Still just try to still learn from those guys, but still lead at the same time.
Any more questions for Bryce? We'll go front row on the right side to Cole and then back behind the line.
Bryce down here. When you look at last season, you guys had the #1 secondary in college football, but you struggled against the run. Do you take pride in knowing that the secondary was part of the reason for success, but also still knowing that there is room for improvement?
Most definitely. We must definitely take a lot of pride in knowing that we were one of the top passing defense in the country, but we also are still, like Coach Durkin said, we were not very good against the run. So we still going to practice. Like when we're going into the team run periods, we emphasize we're going to stop the run. We're not giving up no run plays while still keeping that same mentality against the pass. That's only going to make us be more great.
And then you guys lose AJ and Jalen to the NFL this past year, but you gain in players such as Josh and Sam and Tony. Where have you noticed their improvements with the secondary, and also what does their experience do for not just the versatility, but for also the mentality of the unit?
The more experience that you have with a lot of guys, the better it is. But those guys have been working, learning the playbook, working hard every day, coming to compete, trying to earn a job. Those guys are definitely improving.
We'll stay on the front row to Brent and then back behind the lines.
Bryce, how nice was it to get in that indoor complex and just your early impressions of it and having all that space to work with?
Man, it's definitely a lot of space in there. I told Mr. Bajork whenever we was out there, I said, this is probably one of the best indoors facilities I've ever been in. So I loved it. But, yeah, that's going to help us a lot.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side to Justin.
Hey, Bryce, we get to see open practice today, but for the most part, we don't get to see you guys go against the receivers. So what's that competition like so far?
Oh, man, it's competitive. It's competitive, real competitive. We don't want them to catch no balls on us, and they always want to try to cook us, always trying to get us or snag on us. So, man, we bring the competitive every day. Like, it's no days off or you're going to get embarrassed. So that's the mindset you got to have whenever you guard those receivers.
And then for you, did you say star position? Is that what that's what Durkin calls it in the nickel? So you being able to move around, I mean, how versatile do you think your game is, and how does that suit your skill set?
Playing a star you have to be able to be very versatile. Like I said, you have to be able to show up in the run game on blitzes. You have to be able to drop in the cover two, be able to go play half field. You have to be able to play curl flats. You have to be able to play in the hook, and you still have to be able to play man-to-man coverage. So that shows pretty much every versatility that you can have on defense. So I take a lot of pride into that.
We'll go front row on the right side to Travis.
Hey, Bryce. Coach Fisher mentioned earlier that the guy came in yesterday to kind of talk about the risks of sports gambling. What was something that you took from the message?
Definitely just don't do it. Stay as far away from it. Don't get involved in it, and just stay out of that world. Just, yeah, most definitely.
We'll go third row on the left side to Alex.
Coach Fisher mentioned that Joe Schaefer's come in and started coaching the safeties and nickels. Just what have been your impressions of him and just in working with him?
Man, Coach Schaefer, that is my guy. Ever since incoming freshman, early spring, we meeting before meetings every single day. We going over every little thing, every small detail. Still doing this to this day. That's my guy. I would say that guy has probably helped me the most out of anybody for his formations and playbooks and being aware of stuff. He's a big part of my success.
We'll go fourth row on the right side and then wrap things up with Sam.
Bryce, just what have you noticed from some of the other guys in your recruiting class that came in with you, Jared and Jacoby back there, and kind of how they've progressed?
Oh, man, their progression has been great. They've been working every day, coming and competing, learning the playbook, staying in the playbook. Yeah, they're competing for spots also, so they've been working every day.
We'll go fourth row on the left side and wrap things up with Sam.
Bryce, I know things didn't go the way you guys wanted to last year, but I'm curious, what has been the mood and the mentality of this team going into this year?
The mentality has been this year is just basically we're going to change the way everybody thinks. We're going to prove everybody wrong. We're going to meet our standard. We're going to come to practice every day with a standard set. And if you don't meet that standard, you can't play on the defense. And staying with the offense, I feel like they have the same standards also. Like you don't meet their standard, you can't play. So most definitely, we have to meet their standard every day.
All right, that's a wrap. Thank you, Bryce.
Thank you.